Hi, my name is Elizabeth Alron, and I want to welcome you to my blog page. I'm laughing in part because this is so not me. You know, so many people these days are getting on the web and are comfortable in front of the camera, and even when I was in high school and college, I was always behind the scenes. So getting out in front of people is not really my thing. However, having said that, I wanted to put a personal touch on something that I feel very strongly about, and that is the idea that so many people that I've talked to over the years, and I've been a hypnotist and coach for, geez, about 8 years now, and I've had well over 10,000 conversations with people, and so many just really have a hard time being who they truly are. And I can get that because I've always been the odd man out in my family. You know, that one crazy aunt, that's probably me. So I get what it feels like to be the outsider. And the funny thing is I'm not the only one. Oftentimes when I talk to people, I run into a lot of people who are the same way. In their family, they're the one that's the odd one out. They're the one that people don't get, they don't understand. And I think it's really important for people to get that being who they are is perfectly acceptable, perfectly legitimate, and perfect, period. And I don't get it, why it would be so tough for us to be ourselves, but yet it's something that's very common. And you know, especially as a young child, you want to fit in, but the irony is that even as a young child, I couldn't fake it. I never really did fit in. I was always kind of the outsider looking in and never really the popular one. And the interesting part is as I've gotten older and matured and all that kind of good stuff, I've realized that being unique can be a great thing. I'm kind of sad it's taken me so long to figure that out, and I kind of relish my offbeatness now. To give you an example, someone will tell me they're a professional white male, and I'm like, well, what qualifications do you have? How did you get to be a professional white male? It's kind of the smart ass in me, I think, too. But it's kind of fun to play with words, and that's where that whole idea of perspective comes in, and that's why I've used it to name my radio show, World of Perspective Radio. That's why I used it to name my blog, World of Perspective. So many times we look at things and we just take them for granted, and we see them the same way over and over and over, and just stop seeing them after a while. So I think it's kind of fun to play with the words and to play with what people think, and to look at things that we take literally and play with them figuratively, and take the things we say figuratively and play with them literally, and laugh. Laughter's good for the soul. At least they say it is. I don't know about you, but I do love to laugh as she laughs. Oh man, I probably look like a crazy woman right about now. But anyway, I do love to have fun, and I do love to talk to people, and I do love when people get to be true to themselves, because there's something so beautiful about someone being who they are. Something so special, so unique, and just so amazing. And I think competition goes out the window. All kinds of things go out the window, because I'm not the only hypnotist in the world, but I'm the only hypnotist who does things the way that I do. And I'm the only coach that has this crazy offbeat sense of humor exactly the way I have one. So, if someone's going to come to me, they're going to come to me because they appreciate how I look at things. If they go to someone else, they probably appreciate more how they look at things. And I think the beauty is that there's gazillions of people in the world. There's lots of opportunity, and I think oftentimes we can forget that. We can get lost in the fact that we don't see something immediate and think that there's nothing there, and there's always something there. I think sometimes it's hard to remember that sometimes underneath the soil there's a seed growing. I once did this science experiment. I think I won the second prize for it, and part of it was planting of seeds, and there was some explanation in it that I recall. It had to do with the seeds growing under the soil before they pop up, and if they got planted down too far, they wouldn't make it over the soil. So seeds do grow underneath the soil, and we don't always see them. And sometimes it takes a while before we'll actually get to see the results of what we've done. And I think that's the thing to remember. And just because something doesn't work in the moment doesn't mean it will never work. And just because being yourself one time didn't exactly work right, it didn't exactly get you what you wanted, doesn't mean that that's not the way to go. I find that oftentimes the head and the heart can be at odds with each other. And for me, the heart is the soul. The head can be a real troublemaker, trying to be logical about it, trying to figure things out. And it can be our best friend sometimes, but it can also be our worst enemy. So, what I want to leave you with is you're not as unique as you think you are, and yet you are exactly as unique as you think you are. How's that for perspective? So, one last thing. Having said all this, I did find recently that I have a knack for telling people exactly what they need to hear. Oftentimes, exactly what they already know about themselves, and sometimes we just need someone to tell us exactly what we need to hear and exactly what we already know about ourselves. And at the end of this video, I'm going to give you the link, and at the bottom of this video, I'm going to give you the link to explore more about that if you're interested. But in the meantime, I just want to say, you are so perfect the way that you are. You are so amazing the way that you are. And you really got to get that. The world needs you to get that. So I will leave you with that. Have a wonderful day.